This podcast was produced by OAR FM Dunedin with support from New Zealand On Air.
Have you ever considered how we tell stories beyond books or the spoken word? My guest today, Kitty Brown, is a published author and co-director of the Dunedin Writers and Readers Festival, but her ability to share stories reaches beyond the conventional, and today she's here to share her story with us. Welcome to Tell Me Moia, where the chats are candid, the laughs are loud, and nothing is off limits. I'm Harriet Moia, and each episode I'm sitting down with brilliant women or people who identify as women for no filter and no nonsense chats about, well, pretty much anything. Real, relatable, and at times raucous, Tell Me Moia dives right into the conversations we want to have but don't have time for, and the ones we don't want to have but we know we should. Strap in. Are you ready for Tell Me Moia? Season 1 of Tell Me Moia kicks off quite simply with a collection of conversations with 8 interesting women I know. And in our 8th and final episode, I have the pleasure of welcoming one of Dunedin's leading figures in the arts and creative scenes, Kitty Brown. She has been described as a creative shapeshifter and a cultural storyteller, and her impact here in Otepoti on arts, culture and community ranges from leadership to literature to urban landscapes and legacy. Kia ora e hoa, nau mai ki te konai ipurangi, Kitty. Welcome to you to Tell Me Moia.
Tēnā koe, Harriet. Thanks for having me.
I'm delighted that you accepted my invitation to come along and have a chat. So good to see you. We seem to kind of only cross paths professionally, so this feels like a bit of a treat. And as I've mentioned to you, I've forewarned you, and that I'm straight off the bat, I'm going to ask that pesky question that I've asked all the wahine who've been interviewed on Tell Me Moia this season. Do you think women can have it all?
Wow. Actually, I think probably my response is maybe they can, but also I think that an attitude towards believing that one can have it all is sort of at the base of some of the problems in our society.
Amazing response, yeah.
This idea of needing to have it all, thinking that one can have it all. I think we should have everything we need.
Yes.
We should have that clear water to drink, that good kai to eat, and our whānau homed and housed appropriately. Those are the things that we need, and we should all have those things.
Absolutely.
And as far as having everything that we want, we can't have everything we want until we get what we need.
Yeah, it's like we're so far ahead of ourselves, and all this quest for all of those things we think that we need, that we want, often come at to the detriment of what we need.
Yeah.
Sort of, and it's the individualistic approach versus the collective, isn't it?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, if we were looking after everybody's needs, then we could all probably have some of the things we want as well. But yeah.
Yeah, that balance is important, eh?
Yeah, totally. Beautiful, beautiful answer. Thank you. And it's something a bit different to what we've heard as well, which is really awesome. It's what I wanted to achieve with this series is just some different perspectives and different views. So thank you. So I understand you live in Portobello with your whānau, your husband Dan, and your 2 tamariki, who are how old?
I've got Tama who's 13 and Queenie is 7.
Okay, So, you're in a kind of a nice stage, I reckon, are you? I mean, they're all nice stages.
They're all nice stages, yeah. Tama is just started at high school, so we're in a big roller coaster of emotion and hormonal challenge with that guy.
Yes.
And Queenie's 7 and she's just the sweetest thing you've ever met.
Oh, most delightful.
Yeah, so there's a good balance there.
Yeah, absolutely. You've got a lovely balance. The whole, I always feel like both of my girls, when they hit year 9, like they were thriving at intermediate. They were just like, just loving themselves, great friends, involved in everything. And there is something about this kind of hormonal collision that happens at the same time as they go from being big fish in a little pond to being little fish in a big pond. Yeah. And I feel like both my girls really lost their mojo in year 9. They get it back. But
get it back. Good. Good to know.
Yeah. But it was just like, what's going on? It's so confusing because, this kid who's always been like into everything and doing, and all of a sudden they're sort of shutting down a bit and reluctant or hesitant to do things. I don't know if that's your experience with Tama, but it's just, there was a big hormonal shift that coincided kind of socially and as well. And I think might be a bit of a clanger of a year, really.
It has been a clanger of a year so far, and we're just, Dan and I are just in behind that kid, trying to support him and not get angry at him so much that, we can't support him. So, yeah. That's always a very fine line as well, isn't it? We understand that our children need to know that we want them to tell us the things, so we've got to sort of hide the frustration or the fury or the disappointment and support them. But that is a really hard thing to do sometimes. Yeah, we just have to trust that he is going to get through it and support him as much as we can. Yeah.
Yeah, and then I suppose we've already completely gone on a tangent, as I knew we would. Then there's the whole question of at what point do you start looking at, do they need to change school and stuff? Like, is it the school or is it the social thing? And then you're like, am I pandering too much to what's going on? Do they have to just learn to kind of battle through? And all of that stuff comes into question, eh?
Yeah, there's heaps of questions as parents with this age group.
Yeah. But you sound like you have a good partnership. Sounds like you've got a lovely partnership with Dan. And you do kōrero about all these things, and
we cannot stop talking about it. And when he was a baby, because our firstborn child, I said to Dan one night, I know you're working all day and I'm home with Tama and maybe you don't want to talk about him all night. And Dan said, no, I do. I actually do want to talk about him all night.
Yeah, that's amazing. How good.
And we're still kind of like that.
Yeah, that is so wonderful, because there's nothing worse than feeling like, you want to, especially when you've been at home with the baby all day, you want to like talk about all the things, and imagine that feeling of not being able to share that. So that's awesome. You live in Portobello, and you told me a beautiful story, actually, because it's a kind of pretty misty, cold, miserable Dunedin afternoon. So do you want to recap this beautiful story you shared with me when you walked in the studio?
Yeah, well, there's this beautiful fog that comes up the harbour quite occasionally, actually. It's not something that happens on the regular here in Otepoti. This fog is about 12 stories high, and if you drive along the high road, you're looking down on the clouds, but you're up in the beautiful sky. And when you're looking down on those clouds, you can't see the city, you can't see the water. It's all covered in this thick, foggy mist. And we think of that as o tākou whānui as a visitation from our guardian taniwha matamata.
Yeah, beautiful.
Yeah, and so usually when we have a day like that with that huge fog, it will evaporate into a beautiful, sunny, fine, crisp day. And that did happen today for a couple of hours, and then it rained.
Yeah, and then it rained, yes. And it was like, goodbye, taniwha. Thank you for visiting. So are you from Dunedin originally? Like Dunedin or Otako, yes, but... Are you from? Sorry, we just had was that my phone vibrating moment? No, it's just your vibrator vibrating, don't worry.
Yeah, I'm originally from Kaiapoi, which is up near Christchurch, little town up there. Yeah. And so originally I'm from there and brought up there. And my holidays and whānau journeys used to bring me down this way. I used to get chucked on the train or come down with my whānau in the car to Otepoti and further on to Awarewa Bluff to visit whānau and have my school holidays while my parents were working. So I had a connection with Dunedin through that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you stayed with family.
Yeah, so we've always had a whānau farm out at Otako and some kids would get sent out there to our Auntie Merihene and she'd look after them in the school holidays while our parents were working. So, yeah, I guess that's where my love of this place has its origins.
So I know you moved back to New Zealand, you were in the UK, so was it a clear, obvious choice? That you
it wasn't completely clear. We went on a road trip around Aotearoa, and it came down to either Taranaki or Dunedin.
Oh, yeah, I could see you in Taranaki as well somehow. Yeah, that's interesting.
And the whānau connections and being in the south just won out. Yeah, and I'm really pleased that it did.
Yes, although the Taranaki is very beautiful, as well.
Yeah, for a visit.
Yeah. So I read somewhere that you are growing a food forest.
Yeah.
Do you have a bit of land out there? Yeah. So talk us through that. So
we bought our house in 2010 with the money that was left to me by my mother, who passed away in 2009. And the house there only has one neighbour, and the rest of the neighbours are far away and farm. There's a farm on one side, there's a campground on the other side.
Sure.
And so we have, neighbours, we've encroached on the commons.
Yeah.
And increase the size of our section so that we have chickens and orchard and gardens on all of our kind of surrounding land.
Fantastic.
Even though our own home section is fairly modest.
Yes, and so obviously then that is something that you have established, that they weren't already existing. You haven't amazing.
My husband is a really keen gardener, and he actually won Gardener of the Year one time in the New Zealand Gardening magazine.
Seriously? That's so impressive.
Yeah, when I was pregnant with my son Tama, my dad said to me, well, that's good because you'll have more time to enter competitions now, which I thought was the strangest thing to say. But I went ahead and entered a few competitions, and one of the things that I did was enter Dan and make a nomination for Dan.
So did he mean just like any competitions?
Any competition, like
just like Weet-Bix back of the thing,
back of the tea bag thing, whatever.
Was he a competition enterer?
He was a competition enterer. I mean, actually, my grandmother was a competition enterer too, and she once on the Bell tea bags, she won a trip to Disneyland.
Stop it. Those people do exist. So are you a competition enterer? I mean, apart from the one that you entered Dan into, like, does this run through your veins?
I'm an opportunist.
Amazing. Well, why not? I'm really fascinated by it, because I'm really fascinated by the idea is like, do you have more luck because you're more prolific in the entering? Have you won some things?
Well, when we're in the UK, I would go to the library because I'm a huge library fan. I'd go to the library over there in England and see on the notice board all these opportunities where people come to this seminar about how to get a mortgage or sign up for an allotment. Yeah. Those kind of opportunities. And I thought to myself, when I get back home, I'm going to try and take every opportunity because I can't here because I'm not a citizen. Yeah. And I'm not living here full time. When I get home, I'm going to go for it and I'm going to take all these opportunities. So
it's literally a conscious decision.
Here I am today on your invitation, taking this opportunity.
Yes. Oh, I love it. Okay, I'm going home now to take every opportunity. That's so good. And so anyway, Gardener of the Year.
So he actually won it, and because what we were able to show was that we'd moved into this house that had absolutely zero garden and was just knee-high weeds, and we had these amazing before and after photos only after just a couple of years of what he'd done with the place.
And so I noticed that you strategically said what he'd done with the place. That was my next question. Like, when we say we, are we talking? So he is the brains and the brawn, and you just carry the.
My official title is Harvester.
Yes, amazing. You get to reap the rewards of his hard work. That's fantastic. Sign me up. I think that's amazing. And so out the way, do the kids go to the school out there?
Yeah, they've both gone to Portobello School.
Yeah, has that been a lovely? Yeah, nice.
And Tama has now started at King's High School. Queenie's still there at Portobello.
So Portobello goes through to year 8. Okay, cool. So that's a big adjustment as well, isn't it?
Yeah, huge. He was like in a class of 18 last year, and now he's in a school with 900 kids.
Yeah, that's a lot. That is a huge transition for sure. And I know I feel like it's a really cute story about how you and your husband met, or at least not necessarily how you met, but how that sort of evolved pretty quickly from meeting each other.
Yeah, well, when we met, I had a plane ticket to go and do my big OE over in England, and not much of a plan around that. Just I'm going to go over there and be a waitress and start travelling.
That sounds pretty universal.
Yeah, that whole plan was on my cards. And then I met Dan like 2 weeks before I was flying out.
That always happens.
Yeah. And he was just starting a building apprenticeship.
Right.
So he also had a big plan for his next 3 years of time.
Yeah.
But yeah, I went over to the UK and he sold his Holden Kingswood. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So you must have met like 2 weeks before you left, but you must have spent a little bit of time in order for him to sell
2 weeks.
Yeah. The Kingswood, I mean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was pretty mate. He borrowed money from his mum as well.
Oh, wow.
At the time.
So you met and then you sort of spent those 2 weeks together going, hey, there's something pretty cool here, but I'm off and you're doing this. And so let's just do that.
So for 3 months we had this lovely relationship, which in those days in the early 2000s.
I was going to say, we're not even really texting, are we?
I had this old brick phone that was like brand new technology then, and we could text, but it was actually really expensive.
I was going to say,
it was
50
like,
cents a text.
Like 1 text or 2 texts a day kind of thing. Wow. And we were going to internet cafes.
Yes,
and we're
buying time.
Yep, buying a half hour.
Oh, remember?
And actually we wrote each other letters as well, analog style, and sent them in the post.
We are the cross-sectional generation, aren't we, of all of those things?
Yeah, those technologies.
And your love story is definitely, a testament to that. So he's great in the garden, which would be, that's his selling point for sure.
Yeah.
Especially in terms of, as we were talking about earlier, the idea of having what we need and looking at, our future and sustainability and all of that. I think this is going to be a growing trend. I hope that people get back to gardening. But you also talked about how you really love to talk about the kids together. That's something that you've always, done. What else? Because when I mentioned to you, when I said, it looks like you've got a good thing going on, like your face lit up and your big smile on your face, you obviously do have a really beautiful working relationship. So what would you say are some of the tenets of that?
Well, Dan and I started our relationship when we were travelling overseas, and so by the time we got back to home, we'd already been together for 3 years.
Yeah, and been through hard stuff
and
too,
been through
right?
struggles. Yeah. So we were pretty solid as a couple, and then we came home and we settled down and bought a house and went through some more struggles and had Tama. And then a few years into having Tama, he was about 4, we bought a house bus and we went off travelling around Aotearoa for a couple of years.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah, and that was amazing, but also a struggle too.
Yeah,
and it was another way of living that was a challenge for us, and travelling is challenging as well as rewarding.
Yes, with a 4-year-old too.
Yeah.
It's not one thing to have a brand new baby kind of thing, but a little whippersnapper who gets up at the crack of dawn and wants to run around and swing from the ceiling of the house bus. All of that's really challenging.
Some long days were put in. So we've had a couple of good long periods of putting our relationship and our whole mix under quite a lot of pressure, and that's been good for us, I think.
Yeah.
To have done that, and also to have that beautiful home to return to.
Sure,
after those struggles too.
Just really good ways of sort of reassessing your beliefs and values and what's important for you, and planning ahead and all of that stuff, eh?
Coming back to our values and our future planning together. Dan's just come off maybe 3 years of being a stay-at-home dad.
Right. Amazing.
So that's, we've had switch-arounds too, where I've been home with the kids and fully at home, and he's been out working, and we do switch around like that and support each other with different part-time work if we're both working.
Amazing. Yeah, that's awesome. So what's he gone back to?
Oh, he's been working on these amazing marine reserves actually that are coming up for Otago, the coast of Otago. There's one at that's under Moeraki Te Runako Moeraki at Oamaru on the Waitaha River.
Okay, so is he building them?
No, he's been on the boat. He's been a deckhand.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, was that something he's done before?
He's done deckhanding before with our whānau because my uncle's a cray fisherman and we're mutton birders as well. So he spent a lot of time on boats doing those kind of things.
Actually, that's really interesting. I am going to go to a quick little ad break, but before I do, you mentioned or I read somewhere that your mother, before she passed away, which I'm really sorry to hear because she was obviously still quite young and you were quite young when that happened. And I'll, if you're okay, I'll ask you some more questions about that later. But I read that she really wanted to pass on the titi mutton birding rights to you, but that at the time you were a vegetarian or something, and it was like, tell me about that.
It was definitely something that I didn't know that I wanted until I got it.
Yeah. Mother knows best.
Yeah, she took me down there and I just loved it. It felt like coming home. Felt like something that I already knew. And the place is beautiful. I love living with a bit of deprivation. Yeah. You know, like tramping and things like that. That sort of vibe where you are living with just the lowest possible tech you can get and few ingredients.
Yeah, just back to basics.
Simple.
Yeah. And there's something very, very special about that. I love tramping and camping also. And it never ceases to amaze me how quickly the time passes when you're not doing anything, or literally all of your activities in a day are based around what you need to survive.
Yes.
And like camping's not exactly, these days it's kind of glamping, isn't it? But yeah, it just fascinates me, the passage of time.
Yeah.
It's sort of like you're slowing right down and yet somehow all of a sudden it's 4 o'clock in the afternoon. And yeah, it's a beautiful thing. So we're just going to take a wee second to hear from our sponsors.
Looking to make your next property move in Dunedin? Call the team that lives and breathes property. At NZ Property Solutions, we're 100% locally owned, packed with worldwide property experience, bold ideas and serious property market know-how. We're passionate, connected and yes, we love a good laugh too. Ready for a cracking result? Call the team at NZ Property Solutions today and let's get you moving. 0800 22 9655.
Thank you so much to New Zealand Property Solutions for sponsoring this very first season of Tell Me Moia. It's been a dream collaboration. Now, I'm talking to Kitty Brown today and we're just going to start launching into some of Kitty's professional career stuff. But interestingly, one of the things I read about you is, like, this may have just been a small, tiny little moment in your career, but that you worked at Rick Stein's seafood restaurant. I dug deep.
Yes.
In the UK, yeah.
Yeah, I worked there while we were in the UK. That was part of the first place that I worked when we were over in England, in Padstow in Cornwall. And the restaurant there is like a palace.
Wow.
It's this beautiful old historic building, great big floor-to-ceiling windows that look out on the estuary of Padstow and the quay, and white tablecloths and too much cutlery.
Yeah. So was it sort of, did they have alfresco?
No, it was all indoors,
okay.
And Rick Stein actually has, like, the whole jurisdiction of Padstow belongs to Rick Stein. He has a fish and chip shop, he has a bar,
Wow.
He has several restaurants.
Interesting.
But I worked in the flagship restaurant, which was his first one, called the Seafood Restaurant.
Yeah.
It was the flash one.
Huh.
And I basically lived on more tips than I did wages.
Wow, yeah.
Because all the people that came to dine there were fairly well-to-do.
Yes, right.
Mm-hmm.
That's the place to work then.
I served Stephen Fry when I worked there. Mm-hmm.
That's so exciting.
Yeah.
So how did you have a hospitality background? Yeah, you did. Okay.
Yeah, I came up through hospitality as a dishwasher
yeah.
when I had dreams of becoming a waitress.
Yeah.
Then I got dreams of becoming a barista.
Yeah.
And then,
and so on. And then
history.
next thing you know, you're pouring wine to Stephen Fry. It's amazing.
Yeah, and when I was in the UK, I worked after that, when, from job to job as you do when you're travelling. I worked in a place that had out catering, and we did the out catering for funerals and weddings.
Yes, right.
And that's where I started to step into events work.
Sure. Okay, beautiful segue, because when you then came back to New Zealand, was that when you got the job at OUSA as event manager there? So that was your first job back before kids, like when you came back? Yeah,
2007 I started working at the OUSA, and they said, I thought it was going to be setting up chairs and tables and coffee stations for conferences.
Sure, yeah.
And they said, come down, you'll have to do a trial event. Everyone we're interviewing is doing a trial event.
Yeah.
I said, rightio. They said, you can do the Mothras. And the Mothras is the student film festival.
Yes.
Where students have made their own films, and they're often quite gory or quite hilarious or quite stupid.
Yeah. Often stupid, I would say.
But there was so much alcohol at that event that I was just blown away. I couldn't believe it.
Wow.
In 2007.
So that was your like trial event?
That was my trial event. And they said, come, you have to wear high heels. And I thought, how am I going to run an event if I'm wearing
high heels?
High heels. But anyway, I got away with it and I got the job. Yeah.
There you go. So just an eclectic bunch of stuff, I imagine, over the years.
It was really eclectic. It was art week. It was sports events. It was swimming events. Yeah. And then eventually they opened the stadium, and of course the Student Association wanted to be the first through the door to present events in that space. And so that was me, 8 months pregnant with Tama, standing there organising, I think it was Shapeshifter, and She Hard and those kind of bands.
Wow, yeah. Okay.
It was a really fun job.
So what do you reckon would be the biggest thing you learned from that job?
It was working with people, hey?
Relationships.
So many different groups within the community of the student population. And my father was a union man, so he always worked on behalf of a collective at the Freezing Works. And so I had that in me. I need to work for people.
Yes.
And the Student Association set me up to do that, really.
Yeah, and all kinds of people. Yeah, like every. Yeah, you're quite right. It is a very I don't know what the word is, but particularly the University of Otago, I think, is made up of just, fascinating. And you only need to see on like the uni open day or the O week and all the different stalls and all the different everythings. You're like, this is a real amalgamation of everything. So it's a beautiful thing.
You couldn't get away with not organising for a diverse audience with that, with them as the audience.
Yes, absolutely.
And to consider that,
And so from there, I know, I don't know what happened in between, but I know you had Tama and maybe Queenie as well before you published the Reo Pepe books. Okay.
So we were publishing Reo Pepe for a 10-year period.
Yeah.
It's from when Tama first came along was when the nexus of the idea of Reo Pepe came.
Yes. So tell us a bit more about that. And Reo Pepe is a series of bilingual books for children, like
under fives.
Under fives, yeah. So yes, tell us. I used to own a shop called Miracle Baby and Children's Wear Shop, and they were insanely popular, right? They just had this beautiful kind of mark of being like a great price point, so they could be a gift on their own, but also they could be a sweet little add-on to a gift. And they're just like really gentle around, learning Te Reo and having Te Reo as part of our everyday lives and introducing that from a very early stage. And people would send them overseas for Kiwi babies born overseas. And they was hugely popular. So I'm interested in what was the kind of the nugget of the idea and how that then went from being an idea to being an action.
So Kirsten is my cousin
and Margot's dance teacher.
Dance teacher. I love this town.
Realised that this morning. Yeah. I kind of feel like I knew that somehow at the back of my mind, but all of a sudden this morning I was like, of course, yes. Anyway.
She's a gifted dance teacher.
She's awesome.
and she's my cousin, and so our tauas were sisters, and we grew up pretty close because I get sent down to Dunedin, so she was here waiting at the other end of the train line.
Grew up with her kind of thing. Yeah.
And we had babies. We had Pepe at the same time.
Beautiful.
She had Mihiata and I had Tama, and we both wanted to learn te reo Māori, and I, again, love my books. So I went to the library, went to the bookshop. I was looking for books, and I could find some.
Yeah.
No problem. But I could find English books that were far more beautiful and well-produced and had better production values and nicer illustrations and all of these things that I wanted for our Māori books.
Yes.
And so I couldn't find what I wanted.
Yeah.
So that's how we decided, right, we better try and see if we can make some of these.
Do it ourselves. Because Kirsten's the illustrator.
She's the illustrator,
Lovely.
And we both, when you look at our puka puka, you can see we wanted this particular cardboard, we wanted this particular thickness. Everything about our books is what we wanted to
really
see.
Well considered, Yeah, well, they are beautiful. Are they still available?
We ended up selling the rights to Ellen and Unwin.
Okay.
Yeah. And they produce them, they publish them now and distribute them for us.
So you can just get them at normal bookstores and what have you, still get them at the university bookshop, for example.
Yeah, you can still get them out there on the shelves.
I highly recommend. It's beautiful, beautiful gifts. And I was going to ask you what your specific roles were in that whole process. So we talked about Kirsten being the illustrator, but I'm sure that wasn't all she did.
No.
And what did it look like? How did the division of labour kind of work?
Well, her and I are a real creative partnership, and it started with Reo Pepe, and we still work together on lots of various things. And so we have this nice synergy where we both kind of just understand each other, and she can draw something that I can communicate to her.
Yes.
And so that's how it worked with Reo Pepe. I could draw a little stick thing, kind of tell her what I was thinking about the illustration looking like, and then she'd make it actually happen.
Yeah.
She would talk to me about an idea for the way that the text might work, and then I would be able to, progress it and take it further and finish it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I love that word synergy. So, and part of that is obviously that being family, I guess. Yeah, and growing up together and knowing where you each come from and
having your values aligned.
Values aligned, yep, exactly. Yeah, beautiful. And so together, did you produce Matariki, the book? Or
yes,
Matariki, together. That was So that's a book. I'm just gonna steal a quote about that. So it explores the 9 stars of Matariki in rich, detailed imagery and bilingual text. Dive into the meanings of the stars and Matariki itself. Encourage whānau to remember, celebrate and reflect at this important time of year. So is Matariki something that you always knew about? Is it something that was always celebrated in your family? No, because obviously it's a relatively new public holiday. So I was feeling really bad that it was only kind of raised in my awareness in recent years. Yeah. So that is somewhat reassuring.
The same for me.
Okay, good. So was this about just raising awareness of this beautiful?
Yeah, and we kept getting asked to attend things at libraries and schools and read our puka puka and interact with children about kaupapa Māori stories and ideas and doing crafts with them, telling them stories. So when Matariki started to generate in the community, that was something that we decided to weave in and start to kind of elevate.
Yes.
In our storytelling, and the book kind of followed on from our practice of just interacting with community.
Yeah, lovely. So that's also available?
It's available, and it's actually coming out as a board book this year.
Oh,
so
nice.
It has been a paperback picture book, and this year they've decided to put it out as a board book, which is nice. It's a beautiful, smaller format.
It's mostly for children, or would you say it's for?
It's kind of designed for children, and then at the back there's a whole lot of information for adults.
Yeah, so nice.
Educators too.
Beautiful, and you've also published a beautiful bilingual colouring in book at some stage as well.
Oh yeah, that's a real confection actually, because Ellen and Unwin did that with their designers. So they used Kirsten's illustrations.
Okay, yeah.
But they kind of had added a twist with their designers, and I think it's beautiful. It's come together really beautiful and colourful and
gorgeous.
Attractive.
Yay. So you talk some, Te Reo is your second language, and so you've been on a journey to learn Te Reo for how long?
Mai rano for a long time. I could take Te Reo Māori at high school.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Yes.
I was lucky enough to be able to have it at high school level. And then from then on, I've done night classes. I've done professional development through work.
Yeah.
I've done classes at the university.
Yeah.
I've just always in and out of different offerings and
Opportunities, yeah. Yeah, okay, so because that's something I think sometimes it just feels overwhelmingly huge. Oh my God, I've got to learn Te Reo, right? Like I've got to. And like learning, like where do you, learning a whole second language is massive and huge. But I love this idea that you've just kind of chipped away and you're just forever progressing and learning and being open to more.
Yeah,
And
I think I've come to terms with the struggle of it and the kind of, as you say, that chipping away, that constant work.
Yep.
Yeah, that's part of my life.
even those that do the wānanga, that seems so full on. Like it seems like such a huge
lot of
commitment
time
of time. And I'm not averse to that because I believe it's genuinely really important. But it is like, how do you fit that in? So just maybe I was going to ask you what your advice would be to someone wanting to, start a journey. And I think even we've maybe just answered it for ourselves. It's just to start somewhere, isn't it?
Yeah.
Just buy yourself a Reo Pepe book and
Yes.
start there.
I love to start with books. Scotty Morrison and Stacey Morrison have got some really great books that you can work on at home, and also podcasts.
Yes, sure.
Yeah, the
Okay.
Hemi Kelly podcasts are really great.
Hemi Kelly.
Yeah, listening to stuff in your car is quite good because you're just by yourself. And I find with podcasts, listening to podcasts in Te Reo Māori, they feel a bit conversational, even though it's still one-sided.
Yeah,
These people on the radio are having a conversation. So
And so are there podcasts like specifically for learning?
Yeah, there's a good one called Taringa, which is a great learning resource. And Scotty Morrison's books are also available in audiobook format, so they are really good learning resources as well.
Okay, that is very helpful. Thank you. So that's Taringa, and Scotty Morrison's got
Māori
some,
Made Easy.
Yeah. Oh, yes, I've definitely seen that. And so just to add to your collection of cultural things that you do, like as a multi kind of passionate artist myself who has to string together a whole bunch of different things to make up a livelihood, kind of, do you, so you also work for Ōkaha? Can you tell us a little bit about that? I know you're in the Mana Ahurea Design and Identity section of that organisation, but can you tell us a little bit about the organisation and what it is that you do?
Yeah, so Ōkaha started as an environmental response to demands on Papatipu Runaka to respond to consents and environmental issues.
Yep.
It's grown from there. There's now a social arm which has, it's called Mana Takata. They do healthy homes, driver licensing, employment pathways, those kind of things. And I work in the Mana Ahurea part of Ōkaha, which is for Ka'ara Tapuwai or Kāi Tahu is our vision, and that is to see the footsteps of Kāi Tahu visible on the land.
Yes.
Yeah, so it's about finding our own identity in the built environment and in public spaces a lot. Also a little bit of education through cultural narratives, cultural storytelling. We do translations. But the main part of my mahi is working with artists to bring cultural design into spaces. Actually, I just came from the hospital. Yeah. A beautiful new outpatients building that's just about ready. Thinking about the windows there and the manifestations that will be on the windows, thinking about the pauwhenua that will stand outside that house.
Yeah. Okay, amazing. Yeah, because we obviously, Dunedin, the urban landscape of Dunedin is very much reflective of its colonial history.
Beautiful
isn't it?
too. Yeah.
Yeah, it is beautiful. Yeah, heritage buildings and all of that, and incredible. But I understand you really believe in this idea that both of the things can exist together and should exist together, and that's really incredible. So you just mentioned the new outpatient building, but can you give some other examples of where we can see the work that you've facilitated or spearheaded? Or
I work on behalf of mana whenua from Waihao to Hokonui and Gore, so all of those papatipu cast projects our way. We've just finished working a little bit on the Forester Gallery in Wāmaru on behalf of Moeraki, and at the airport we just installed some beautiful artworks there.
The airport's looking good. Yeah.
It's looking really great.
Beautiful.
And the Otepoti building on Dowling Street is a really beautiful one on the landscape. It's now tenanted by ACC.
Yes, yeah.
So a lot of people will know that building. It's right in the Heritage Precinct. Yeah. And when we got to work on that, the architect said to us, look, there's so many parameters when you're building in a heritage area. Yeah. And I said, well, rightio, let's find out what they are, because I want to stick to the rules here.
Yeah.
Well, I'm a heritage nerd like everybody else. And when I looked into it, I thought, actually, it's not too bad. We can align with all of this, but there's no mana whenua, there's no Māori values in this heritage guidelines for the city. So it really threw up a sort of a gap.
Missing element, yeah, absolutely.
And so that was a whole process that we went through with the council to align some mana whenua heritage values into our heritage guidelines for the city.
Oh, wow, really important work, Kitty.
Yeah. The result is that beautiful building.
Yeah, amazing. We are going to just hear another word from our sponsors.
Looking to make your next property move in Dunedin? Call the team that lives and breathes property. At NZ Property Solutions, we're 100% locally owned, packed with worldwide property experience, bold ideas and serious property market know-how. We're passionate, connected and yes, we love a good laugh too. Ready for a cracking result? Call the team at NZ Property Solutions today and let's get you moving. 0800 22 9655.
I'm here today with Kitty Brown, and we've just been talking about the work she does with Okaha, but also you work for Kāi Māmoe. Now, can you tell us, this is the Ngāti Tahu Contemporary Arts Trust. Can you tell us a little bit about what you do for them? It's another string that you have to your creative bow.
Yeah, Kāi Māmoe is the Ngāti Tahu Contemporary Arts Trust, and it was founded in, I think, about 2012 by some of our really amazing, famous Ngāti Tahu artists like Rachel Rākina, Ross Himara, Simon Kahn, and the likes of Arita Wilkinson. And at the time, when they started putting out pānui in our tribal magazine, Te Pānui Runaka, and I'd received that in the mail, and I thought, wow, that's cool. They're doing cool art stuff. And I've been their biggest fan ever since.
Yeah.
And I just started working for them maybe 3 or 4 years ago, and they got this opportunity to take an exhibition to the Asia Pacific Triennial in Meanjin in Brisbane.
Wow, yeah.
Yeah, and they were wise enough or crazy enough to bring me on as their coordinator for that. So we took 30 artists over actually to the Triennial to stage this show.
Okay.
But the main part of the work was here in Aotearoa, making the work.
Yes.
With about 60 different artists who participated in wānaka across Te Waipounamu to make the work that went over to be shown there. So
it was one work?
It was a whole exhibition worth of work.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, so it's many hands making the work.
And was there a theme?
So it was Awa Toi. It was about a hikoi, a tribal expedition that we all went on up the Waitaki to Aoraki and then back down the other side of the Waitaki. So the way that Kāi Māmoe works is very much based on traditional practices like hikoi and wānaka, but to create contemporary outcomes that can go into fine arts galleries. And so I just love that mixture.
So a mixture of all of your skills and backgrounds as well, like in terms of organising the event, etc. But then the storytelling and the everything.
Yeah, the cultural component as well. So I have quite a niche skill set, which paimanu is perfect for.
Yeah, it is. Do you foresee more work with them in the future?
So we just brought our toy, which was our exhibition that we took to Meanjin, and have it's had its return in Karakaraka Toy, which is showing at the moment at the Forrester Gallery, the newly opened one.
Yeah, nice. Oh, beautiful. And, of course, your role with the Dunedin Writers and Readers Festival. And so you were the director in 2022, co-director in 2024, and you also took on the role of curating the kaupapa Māori programming for the festival. So why director to co-director? Was it like a workload thing?
I took it on first by myself. Yeah. And then we brought in Jen as the assistant. I can't remember what her handle was, but it was like assistant director or something. Yeah. And she and I worked really closely together, and then for the second festival, I needed to take a step back because I was working so much on Okaha and Paimanu. Yeah. And so she stepped into a more larger role. So we decided to share it.
That makes so much sense. Yeah. I love that. I love the idea of women figuring out ways to make it work.
Yeah, it's that creative partnership, mahi again. Yeah.
Fantastic. And so I know the festival has experienced like budget and funding cuts in recent years, but somehow the festival last year, it felt sort of bigger and better than ever. So there's a real magic and a real art to that. I'm very curious to know how you make that work.
Yeah, I mean, I hate to be a down buzz, but it's sad that our arts infrastructure, our arts ecosystem relies so heavily on the hard mahi of people.
Absolutely. So many volunteer hours go into these
so much volunteer work and so much unpaid work is what makes it happen, and that relies on people being passionate about the arts.
Yes, and then it's usually, it's just that classic thing when someone busts out a boosted campaign or a give a little or whatever it is, and it's like that it's 90% artists supporting the work of that artist. It's all just the same $20 that just goes round and round Dunedin or around the country. I just that the infrastructure is grossly lacking.
It sure is.
And in Dunedin, there's lots of things reflective of that. Somehow, venues are an issue, and yet somehow we persevere. And this is what I mean. Like somehow, despite all of that, you find a way to make it happen. And because it's undeniably essential.
Yeah. And it feels really good when you actually do pull it off.
Yeah.
These things are really generative in themselves when they happen. Yeah. And that buzz and that wairua comes through when people are collaborating and being creative together.
Yeah. And so the theme for the 2024 festival was ahika, keeping the home fires burning. And so was this something you and the board collaborated on, or was it you and Jen who came up with it, or how and why? Like, how did you land on that? And
that was our board, actually. That was Jeanette Wikaira and Mary McLaughlin, two absolute stalwart arts ladies there. Yeah. And book ladies.
Yes.
Yeah, they came up with that, and it was a good theme, actually, because everybody was warm to it.
Yes. Excuse the pun.
Even, the people that had to articulate it on stage and the people who bought into it by buying tickets.
Yeah. I guess it's this lovely, like in the face of such a digital time where everything's so fast and furious and we can have whatever we want whenever we need it. And just that idea of going back to what we, like a nice full circle, what we started talking about right at the beginning in terms of just going back to the basics. But also there's that lovely sort of visual that you get of storytelling around a fire, isn't it? Like sharing stories around campfires and that kind of thing that's been with us for forever. Yeah. I guess that was emblematic in there as well.
Yes, it was. And the other interesting take on it that came from Nadia Wesley was, she's on our board too, was what does it take to stoke the fire?
Yeah.
What's needed for those people who are stoking that fire? Yeah. What do they need to still be ahika?
Be able to do it, yeah. Yes, yep. some money.
Yeah, and we thought about that when we
would
were
be good.
programming it, like what's going to nourish our community, what do people need to hear about, what's going to keep their stoke going.
Yeah, that's lovely. It'll be hard to better that theme.
I know. I'm glad I don't have hopefully the board have established a precedent there and they can keep on tuning those goodies out.
You just mentioned a little bit that you needed to step back from being like the full-time director of the festival for that period of time because of the work that you're doing. And so, how do you manage that period of 6, 8 months?
It's actually over a year because we're every 2 years.
Yes,
yeah.
right.
And so we just had the Jacinda Ardern event, and that was great for us because it was a good point in the middle for us to have something
to re-energise and
yeah. And
sounds like it was. I was away, but it sounds like it was incredibly successful.
It really was.
Sold out Regent Theatre. I can't remember the last time
it was
Regent
sold
Theatre
out.
was sold out.
Yeah, and thanks to Jacinda Ardern and Penguin Publishing for being so generous.
Amazing.
They didn't, Jacinda Ardern didn't take $1 for that.
Far out,
Yeah.
That's incredible.
And so that was a great fundraiser for our festival, really.
That's awesome. That is really good to hear. I'm relieved to hear that. And so we're rapidly running out of time, and I do have a few more questions that I want to ask you, so maybe there'll be like a quick fire round. So except that this now seems really trite to talk to you about losing your beautiful mama in a quick fire round, so maybe you don't have to be quick fire about this, but I would love to hear what her legacy was for you. Like, what did her life teach you, Kitty?
Oh, man. I mean, Mum was such a hard worker. And I watched her work, and I think, it's really rubbed off on me, and I think that's the way you get things done. That's the way you achieve things, is you work hard and you get that done. And I suppose I'm probably doing that now, and my kids are watching me.
Yes, because that was my next question. Yeah, what do you think? What would you like your children? What would you like your legacy to be for your children? But it sounds like that sort of work ethic or getting the stuff done.
Yeah. And participating in community and, being someone who others can come to.
Yep. Beautiful.
Yeah.
Do you feel like, how do you feel like you parent differently?
Yeah, I try to take more time for myself and do more
to
look after myself.
Great. That is a great lesson we can learn from our mothers.
Yes.
From that generation. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's beautiful. And advice for your younger self? What advice would you give to a younger Kitty about this idea of pursuing a career that's kind of not necessarily linear and it's a patchwork of things? And
not to worry about it, hey? Like, just be that hummingbird.
Yes.
Be that little honeybee that goes around all the different flowers.
Yeah.
And, when you're 18 and you think you've got to knuckle down and become a psychiatrist or something.
Yeah, I know, bless.
It's just not going to happen.
I know. And I do love that too, that idea that just the trusting of it all, trusting that it will all work out. But also you have now, as you say, curated this collection of really niche kind of skills that have a lot of value, and you have work. So there you go, proof that it can be done.
Yeah.
And what are you reading?
Oh my goodness, I'm reading the Mike McRoberts biography. He's so hot.
Well, it's got to be said.
He's so hot, but do you know what?
Oh, what?
The puka puka, love you, Mike, but the whole book is like a very, very, very long news story.
Oh, right. Okay. Yeah. He's a one-trick pony. Oh, bless you, Mike McRoberts. He's a national treasure.
It's a couple of years old now, the book, but
yeah. There we go. Hey, Kitty, is there anything you would like to share before we go? Anything we've missed? Essential Kitty juice?
Not really. I don't think there's much more to say. Sorry to end on a sting for Mike McRoberts.
No, sorry, Mike McRoberts. It's been so lovely to chat with you.
Absolutely.
You have been listening to Kitty Brown in conversation with Harriet Moir on Tell Me Moir. For more information about Aukaha, go to aukaha.co.nz. For more information on the Reo Pepe series, go to reopepi.co.nz, and the Dunedin Writers and Readers Festival, go to dunedinwritersfestival.co.nz. But also, just to recap, we were talking about, for starting out on a reo journey, we're talking about a book called Taringa, a podcast called Taringa, and the Scotty Morrison book, Māori Made Easy. And then you also mentioned a podcast by with Hemi Kelly. Yeah, Thank you so much. Thank you so much for being here, Kitty. It's been such a delight. You've been listening to Tell Me Moir, where the conversations with women are brave, bold, and occasionally make you clutch your pearls in a good way. Heard something that made you gasp, giggle, or immediately text your group chat? Don't worry, we've got you. You can replay this episode or dive into more colourful conversations at oar.org.nz or find us on your favourite podcast platform. For more information about my shows and shenanigans, follow me on Instagram and Facebook, Harriet Moir, Entertainer MC. Thanks so much to Denise Casey and the legends at New Zealand Property Solutions for their tremendous support. Now, go on, hit subscribe. You know you want to.
This podcast was produced by OAR FM Dunedin with support from New Zealand On the Air.